Welcome to Baby Boomers. Today we're talking to Ken Parker, and this is his story.
Ken grew up in Richmond Heights, a suburb of Cleveland, with his two older brothers in a typical American family. He always enjoyed working with his hands, so he majored in industrial design at Ohio State. After graduating, Ken enjoyed his life and traveled as much as he could until October 4th, 2010, when what seemed to be a case of the flu turned deadly. Ken had sepsis and nearly died. To save his life, doctors had to remove his legs above his knees and all of his fingers except his left thumb. According to family and friends, Dr. Safari worked painstakingly to stabilize Ken when others had given up, and they give Dr. Safari credit for Ken's remarkable recovery. Ken, do doctors know what caused this devastating illness?
Well, unfortunately, there's no real way to know exactly what caused it. Is that I had a bacterial infection. There's a thought that it was started in my kidney. The jump from that kidney into my bloodstream, and so my system became septic.
You have a prosthetic for your hand.
Yes.
Do you have one or two?
I have one for each hand, a right and a left, and the left has only 4 fingers because I have my own thumb, and the right one has 4 fingers and a thumb.
Can you raise it up so we can see it?
This is the left one, and it's a myoelectric device, so there's little sensors, and so when I move my hand a certain way I can close it, and when I move my hand a different way I can open it. And that's as far as the fingers go, but they will stall out and they will wrap around a glass or something.
Is it hard to use?
Yeah, because now it froze in this position, and now it doesn't work, so now I have to turn it off, and I have to turn it back on, and that resets it. So it has some software issues, but I can pick up a can, so you can see here, I can hold a can like a Coke can, and then I can just open it to set it down. So it does essentially work on my command. The problem that I usually find with it is that you can see my wrist doesn't twist. There's no movement of the wrist. So all my movement has to be through my shoulder, and it's quite heavy. So it ends up fatiguing you if you wear it for any amount of time. And because it's kind of big and cumbersome, it doesn't really allow you to do real fine detail work of any kind.
Did you have to have physical therapy to learn how to use it?
I didn't. It's been recommended, but I haven't had specific therapy for it.
Ken gets around on his motorized wheelchair, and he drives a specially equipped van.
In addition to 2 hands, you also have 2 legs, correct?
I have 2 prosthetic legs that are the first within the process of learning how to use prosthetic legs. It's the very first starting point, and they're called stubbies.
This is Ken walking on his stubbies at the Rehab Institute of Chicago.
And this is one of them. So essentially, this part goes over my the leg stump, and then this is the foot. In the beginning now, the foot is actually backwards, so this is the right one, and what normally we think of as a foot is behind, because people tend to fall backward. So it's designed so that when you are standing, you don't fall backwards. And this part here, they'll lengthen as I get better with my use of them and my balance and my strength. They add length to this metal piece. So they're going to add 2 inches to it next week when I go back to that I put on my stump. And then when I put that on, there's a little metal peg that snaps into the inside of this. And so that allows me to do it myself. So I put the liner on, and then I clip the leg to my stump. And then to remove it, there's a little button here on the side, and I just have to push that button in, and then I can pull my leg out of it. And that's essentially it.
Well, eventually, once you're very comfortable wearing this, will you be the same, will the leg make you the same height you were if you had your own legs?
Yeah, I was 5'10", and they said that they would want me to be back to 5'10" ultimately. As they extend the length through that metal peg, I'll get taller, but at some point you need to put some sort of a knee into it.
Does it hurt to wear it?
It does rub after you wear it for a little while. I usually don't wear them for too long.
I imagine these are quite expensive. Does your insurance pay for it?
Yes, insurance covers the prosthetics and a certain amount of therapy. So.
Is it frightening at first to use it, to be standing up on something that's not actually your own?
No, I wouldn't say it's frightening, but I'm concerned about falling. If I fall and injure an arm or an elbow or a wrist, then I may find myself bedridden.
Ken, you're always so up. Everyone who knows you says that. How do you maintain your positive attitude?
Well, I think everybody's different, and fortunately for me, I really don't have a hard time being positive. I've always been a solution-oriented person. The situation is a challenge, and I'm going to live the most normal life I can live, and I'm not going to let anything stop me.
What does the future hold for you?
My short-term future is I really want to work at mastering the leg prosthetics. My shorter-term goal with regard to just simple things like mobility are to be able to get myself in and out of a car so I can drive the car that I want and not have to take a wheelchair everywhere I go.
Ken hopes his prosthetic legs will eventually enable him to drive a regular car and walk around on his own.
I see myself as being basically in retirement now. I have always been kind of a creative person, so I have kind of an idea that I want to pursue some pottery and learn how to do throwing pots and some maybe flat work in pottery called One Thumb Pottery. And so that's kind of my one of my little goals that I have. I enjoyed doing things around the house. Now it's difficult for me, but I have people that help me. And so the things that I always enjoyed, I'm going to continue to try to enjoy. I can't always do it on my own. I need a little bit of help sometimes.
Thank you for sharing your very inspiring story, Ken.
Oh, you're very welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to ask me these questions and put together the blog site. I hope all that view it find it interesting.